Sarah's heart shattered as her husband James handed their newborn daughter to his mistress, Lisa, in their home. "Name my child," he said coldly, while Lisa smirked, her eyes mocking Sarah's pain. At 30, Sarah felt the sting of betrayal deeper than the stitches from her recent surgery. She clutched her sister's old necklace, a village heirloom, and vowed to fight for her daughter, no matter the cost. A week earlier, James, 35, was at a lavish lodge with Lisa, 35, laughing over drinks, when Sarah called, her voice trembling. Her water had broken, and pain gripped her body. "James, please, I need you to take me to the hospital," she begged. But James, cozy in Lisa's embrace, rolled his eyes. "Can't you get a taxi or something?" he snapped, hanging up to focus on Lisa, who pouted and asked for a long back massage before he could leave. James, eager to please her, stayed. Sarah, alone and desperate, called her cousin Emily, 28, who lived an hour away. Emily couldn't come quickly but promised to meet her at the hospital. With no choice, Sarah walked 30 minutes to the hospital, each step a battle against searing pain. She prayed for strength, clutching her necklace, a symbol of her family's love. She collapsed at the hospital entrance, and nurses rushed her to the emergency ward. After examining her, the doctors found the baby's heartbeat dangerously weak. "We need an emergency surgery," they said, wheeling Sarah into the operating room. James arrived 2 days later, after Sarah's surgery, having spent the time with Lisa. "Where's my wife?" he asked the nurses, his tone more annoyed than concerned. They told him Sarah was recovering. James's face twisted in anger. "Why couldn't she just push the baby out like normal women?" he shouted, calling her lazy. The nurses exchanged quiet glances, their disapproval clear but professional. One nurse, Rachel, 37, whispered to another, "How does a woman like Sarah end up with such a man?" They admired Sarah's calm strength, seen in her polite request despite her pain. James ranted, saying women who choose surgery are weak and their children useless. Rachel, unable to stay silent, said softly, "Many strong women need surgery to save their babies." James ignored her. Just then, his mother, Mrs. Margaret, 62, called to check on Sarah. James complained, "Your choice of a wife is useless, opting for surgery." Mrs. Margaret's voice sharpened. "James, I had surgery to bring you into this world. Am I weak too?" She had told him years ago, but James, always dismissive, had forgotten. His face fell, a flicker of doubt crossing his eyes, though he quickly hid it. James stood shaken as the doctor emerged. "Your wife delivered a healthy baby girl," he said. James's pride returned. He asked about his daughter, barely mentioning Sarah. Rachel shook her head, noting his selfishness. "Your wife nearly lost her life," she said firmly, hoping to stir his conscience. James shrugged, calling Lisa to visit the baby. The nurses, bound by protocol, allowed it after James signed a visitor form, claiming Lisa was family. Soon, James held his daughter, his face glowing with joy. Sarah, in the recovery room, shivered with postpartum chills, her body weak but her heart strong. She thought of her daughter, whose kicks she'd felt for months, and found courage. When the nurses brought her baby, Sarah's pain faded. She sang a lullaby her mother taught her, tears of love falling as she held her daughter close. After 5 days, Sarah was discharged. Emily, who had visited daily, helped her into James's driver's car. Sarah stared at her daughter during the ride home, her heart full. But at home, her joy turned to anger. James stood with Lisa, their hands clasped, eyes fixed on the baby as if Sarah didn't exist. Sarah's grip tightened on her necklace as James handed her daughter to Lisa. "Name my child," he said, his voice firm. Lisa's lips curled. "I'll call her Grace," she said, glancing at Sarah with a cruel smile. Sarah's chest burned. Her daughter, born through her pain, was being claimed by another woman. She stepped forward, but James's glare stopped her. "Touch my daughter, and I'll send you back to your poor village, never to see her again," he warned. He called Sarah unfit to raise Grace, saying Lisa, with her city charm, was better. "I only keep you here for mother's sake. Cross Lisa, and you're gone." Sarah knew James meant it. He'd married her only to please Mrs. Margaret, who longed for a grandchild. Sarah stood frozen, watching Lisa cradle Grace. James's words cut deep, but she couldn't risk losing her daughter. That afternoon, James bought Lisa a sleek new car, worth millions, to thank her for raising Grace. Lisa squealed, inspecting the car, while Sarah felt used. She remembered James's sweet lies during their courtship, how he'd wooed her to win her hand, only to reveal his true self when she got pregnant. Mrs. Margaret had chosen Sarah for her kindness, but James saw her as a means to an heir. That night, James ordered Sarah to move to the guest room downstairs. "Lisa's taking my bedroom," he said. Sarah's heart broke as she saw them laughing on his bed, Lisa mocking her village accent. Packing her things, Sarah felt her world collapse. She cried all night, her tears soaking the sheets. Her husband was with a woman who'd stolen her home and child. She heard Grace's cry echo through the house and ran toward it, but James's warning stopped her. She couldn't lose her daughter forever. Back in her room, Sarah knelt and prayed. "God, reunite me with my daughter. Send me a friend to ease this pain," she sobbed, clutching her necklace. Exhausted, she fell asleep on the floor. The next morning, stiff and sore, Sarah went to the kitchen and saw Grace alone on a chair. Lisa was upstairs. Sarah held her daughter, whispering thanks to God. She savored the moment until Lisa's footsteps neared. Sarah gently placed Grace back and slipped away, her heart lighter. Later, Sarah got a text from an unknown number. "I dreamed of you last night and felt called to reach out. I'm Claire. Can we talk?" Sarah's spirit lifted. She replied, and soon she and Claire, who lived in another state, were chatting daily. Claire's kind words and shared stories of hardship brought Sarah hope. She felt God answering her prayers through this new friend. Sarah longed to hold Grace again. Feeling low, she texted Claire, who suggested asking Lisa politely to let her hold the baby. Sarah approached Lisa, her voice soft. "Please, let me hold Grace for a few minutes." Lisa scoffed. "I won't let her grow up like a village girl. My job is to make her refined." Sarah's heart sank. Lisa, who'd never carried a child, was blocking her from her own daughter. When Grace cried, recognizing Sarah's voice, Sarah sang her lullaby. Lisa's eyes softened. "Okay, but only if you clean the house and cook first," she said. Sarah worked tirelessly, cleaning and cooking, her love for Grace driving her. But when she finished, James was home. Defeated, she retreated to her room and texted Claire about it. Claire replied, "One day, you hold her forever. Stay strong." Sarah clung to those words, dreaming of that day. The next morning, Sarah found Grace alone in the living room, asleep on a chair. Lisa was upstairs. Sarah lifted her daughter, tears falling. "We'll be together soon," she whispered, rocking her. She didn't hear James return. "What are you doing?" he roared, snatching Grace. "Your filthy hands on my daughter." He slapped Sarah and threw her out, ignoring her pleas. Sarah begged outside for hours, but James was unmoved. With night falling, she returned to her village, having no one else in the city. The next day, Sarah visited Mrs. Margaret, who was heartbroken by James's actions. "I'll speak to him," she promised, apologizing for her son. Sarah returned to her family's home, broken. She couldn't eat or sleep, her heart aching for Grace. Her family tried to comfort her, but the pain of losing her child was unbearable. That night, Sarah dreamed of Grace with strange men. Terrified, she took the first bus to the city, arriving at James's house to find the door ajar. Sarah searched frantically for Grace, but the house was empty except for James, asleep. "James," she screamed, waking him. "Where's my daughter?" James, confused, checked the house. Lisa's car was gone, her number erased from his phone. Panic set in as he called for Lisa and Grace, but no one answered. "Where's my daughter?" Sarah demanded, fear in her voice. "I don't know," James shouted, his eyes wide. "She was here last night." "Where does Lisa live?" Sarah asked. James admitted he didn't know. They met at a lodge. He'd believed Lisa's tales of wealth, dazzled by her borrowed designer clothes and fake business cards. "How could you be so careless?" Sarah cried. She demanded to know where he met Lisa. James gave an address, and Sarah warned, "Pray I find her, or you'll answer to me." She rushed to the address, asking about Lisa, but no one knew her. Hours later, James joined her, recalling a boutique Lisa frequented. They drove there, meeting the owner, who was surprised to see James with Sarah. "I haven't seen Lisa since your last visit," she said. "You don't know where she lives?" James looked ashamed. Sarah pleaded, and the owner directed them to Lisa's friend, Hannah, 31, nearby. At Hannah's house, she said Lisa left that morning in a hurry, without a baby. Sarah's heart raced. Hannah found Lisa's number deleted from her phone, shocking James, who realized Lisa had planned her exit. They told Hannah about the kidnapping. Stunned, she gave directions to Lisa's mother's village. They drove for hours, tension thick. At the village, they found Lisa's rundown shack, far worse than Sarah's family home. James, fooled by Lisa's lies, felt foolish. Sarah glared. "This is your refined woman." An old woman answered the door, and Lisa's daughter, Chloe, 20, said her deaf grandmother hadn't seen Lisa in weeks. Chloe, who cared for her grandmother since Lisa left years ago, knew little but said Lisa visited the first Sunday of each month with medicine. That was days away, too long. They thanked Chloe and returned to the car. James's phone rang. A woman claimed to know Grace's location but hung up before giving an address. The number was off when he redialed. "Who was that?" Sarah asked. James explained, and Sarah's frustration boiled. "This is your fault," she cried. They went home, sleepless, waiting by their phones. The next morning, a man called, "Bring 100 million naira in cash. I'll tell you where to drop it." The line died. "How much?" Sarah asked. 100 million, James said. Sarah reeled. "What now?" James rejected Sarah's police idea. The man threatened Grace's life. James called his bank, confirming 200 million available, and arranged for 100 million in cash. He picked it up and returned to Sarah, who sobbed, fearing for Grace. She texted Claire, unanswered for days, feeling her world collapse. 3 days later, another call gave drop-off instructions. "Who's with you?" the man asked. "My wife," James said. "Give her the phone and money." Sarah took them. "Can you drive?" the man asked. Sarah nodded. She'd learned in her village, practicing on her uncle's old car. "Drive alone to the old house outside town with the money. 30 minutes, or she's gone." Sarah sped off, James stunned by her skill. He'd never cared to know her. He prayed for Grace's return. Sarah reached the house, eyes darting. A masked man tapped her window. She handed over the money, and he said, "Drive down the road. Your baby's in a basket." Sarah found the basket, Grace inside. She hugged her tightly, drove home, and James's eyes lit up, though he eyed Sarah warily, suspecting Lisa's deceit. In her room, Sarah held Grace, thanking God. A text arrived with a 70 million naira credit alert. "Sarah, it's Lisa. I sent this for you and Grace. James's cruelty shocked me, naming your child, treating you like nothing. I played the villain to hide my plan, even befriending you as Claire. I stopped texting to stay hidden. I heard your prayers that night in James's room and left Grace alone for you to hold her. I'm sorry for the time James expelled you, I didn't expect it. I urged James to support you, but he refused, calling you worthless. So, I planned to trick him, hiring a friend to stage a kidnapping. I'm sorry for the fear it caused. My friend kept Grace safe in a quiet house, fed and warm. I sent the money untraceably, using a friend's account. James doesn't deserve you. Use this to start anew. I'll face my risks, hoping another woman doesn't hurt you worse. Take Grace away, James is no father. All the best. Sarah stared, stunned. Lisa, her tormentor, had freed her. She whispered to Grace, "We are safe now." Over days, Sarah planned her escape, contacting Emily, who found her a small apartment in a new city. One night, while James slept, Sarah packed and left with Grace, leaving a note. "James, I've taken our daughter and left. Your betrayal and cruelty broke me. I stayed, hoping you'd change, but you won't. Grace deserves love and peace, and I give her that, leaving all behind. I forgive you, but we are done. Maybe you'll see your wrongs and grow, as mother wished. Goodbye. Sarah." James woke to silence, finding the note. He sank, anger turning to shame. He called Mrs. Margaret, confessing his failures, her words echoing, "Respect all, James." He vowed to change, starting with an apology he'd never deliver. Sarah and Grace thrived in their new city, her necklace a reminder of resilience. This tale teaches us, honor everyone, no matter their roots. Kindness reflects your heart. Don't wed for gain, marry for love. Treat your spouse with care, for your actions define you. I hope you love this story.